All right, we're going to try these alpha male Betamax videos. Instead of going live, I'm going to do it this way. It might be easier to see. So I'm going to go through these movies that I've picked up at what I'm calling the honey hole because there were so many of them and in excellent condition and at a super low price. I showed a few the other day. I might re-show them in this format, but these are ones you should not have seen yet. So this is Fighting Back, a movie I'd never heard of. But when you see Dino De Laurentiis, you know something good is going on. And it's got Tom Skerritt, Patti LuPone, which is a name I've heard, but I can't remember where. You've got Yaphet Kotto. He was in Live and Let Die. He was also in Midnight Run. But anyway, as you can see, this tape is in pretty good condition. This is one of those nice ones with the folding out with this Paramount like that. Let's see the back side here. So hard to get this straight with the angle I can see it. There you go. Enough is enough. The battle cry of people of a crime-battered neighborhood. Now, this is a recurring theme in the 80s, where crime is out of control. They don't feel law enforcement or the government or whatever is helping them. So you get the rise of the community banding together, death wish, etc., etc. Fighting Back. No, come on, baby. Now, anytime I see this code like this, I'm thinking that's got to have been a rental because I don't know of any. I always see this thing, even in ones that were sealed, but this is usually indicative of a rental, so I'm thinking that's what you are, a rental. But anyway, there's these typical glue spots that you find, especially with stuff of this age. You can see it there. It's hard to pick up on camera because these areas here inside always get little flakes, but that doesn't necessarily mean mold. And usually the first thing I do is flip these over and I put my nose right in this part here so I can smell for mold. You don't want mold, and it's not worth cleaning. I know there's solutions to clean and stuff like that, but there's systems to clean anyway. It's dicey at best and time consuming, so I don't know why you would do it unless it was like a home video or something, or a clearly near one-of-a-kind tape or something like that, which I don't think Fighting Back is. I'd never seen it, but I'd actually never even heard of it, so to me that's like a knockoff. Fighting Back. Now here's one I thought was pretty interesting. This is Star Trek, and I have a set of these, but I've never, why does it look sideways here, but then skew on the video? Something must not be lined up. Anyway, I've never seen it, number one, with 2 episodes. Okay, I've never seen that. Usually 1 episode on 1 tape. That's to get you to keep buying tapes. And these are later episodes, so why this would be volume 4 leads me to believe that this was some kind of greatest hits that you were supposed to really get excited about. And then you get the black Paramount thing there. I like these ones with the little flat doors. They're a little nicer. I like the big ones too, but for the small ones, I like this set here. And then, you know, listen, if you don't know what Trouble with Tribbles is, you're probably not interested in Star Trek. And then this famous episode here where there's 2 of these guys, and they're fighting each other. They're both black and white, and the crew is like, what are you guys fighting about? And this guy here says, well, we're white on this side and black on this side. They're black on this side and white on this side. So, of course, they suck. Very subtle, but you get the point. Kirk thinks they're out of their mind. Come on, baby. There we go. And then this must have been a rental as well, which I rarely find these Star Trek episodes, the single episode version, that were ever rentals. So this is something else. Can't imagine somebody would show up at the rental store back then and, oh, there's trouble with tribbles, maybe. I haven't seen that in forever. Here's $5. I don't know what these tapes retailed for, but with 2 episodes, I wonder. And why aren't you going? What's the problem here, Chief? Ah, this back flap. Yeah, this one was a little beat right here. So I'm not going to spend 45 minutes playing with that while recording a video. That'll have to be fooled with later, because you certainly don't want to do any harm to these things. All right, Whitney Houston. Ever hear of him? Big in the later half of the 80s. These are #1 hits. I really like these music ones, even though they're not really a good value proposition because they're just a few regular videos. But back in the day, you were either recording off MTV and having, you know, all MTV's nonsense around it, or you could get one of these and you could watch the video in pristine a condition as possible, which ain't bad if you like music. But again, I don't know what these things retailed for, so who knows. This one has got, boy, that's hard to see in here. You Give Good Love, Saving All My Love for You, How Will I Know, and the one that everybody's sick of, The Greatest Love of All. And here's the tape, and you'll notice the sticker there, but I don't believe this was ever at any time a rental. I can find no evidence, not sticker residue or anything, that this was ever for rent. So that's a good condition one. Interesting, I don't know if you noticed this here, elongated butt flap here on this one for proof of purchase. I don't know what you would have used that for, but maybe if you had a defect, you could send that in. I know Warner Brothers is going through a defect of DVDs and Blu-rays around the 2006 to 2008 era that are all getting disc rot. And they said they were going to let people send them in and get replacements, but apparently when you send in your email, they're just being ignored. So more to come. The date today is April 13th, 25. So that's the current situation. One day historians will note the great disc rot. And perhaps by the time you're watching this, there's a resolution, but we'll see. So Al Pacino, Serpico, I mean, certainly a classic. I find this one tough to watch because, I don't know, it's just some of the 70s movies are just really, they're their own thing. You can tell by mostly by these decades how these films were made and who was making them. And this is definitely a 70s movie, some weird pacing and stuff, but It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia did an episode where Charlie Day was Serpico, or essentially Serpico, dressed like him and everything. And then you could see why, from our perspective this late, it's so silly. And of course, here's this thing here that tells me this was a rental. But I don't know. I mean, this box is a little beat. If you see here on the back, that's got a number there too. I would guess that's some kind of catalog system for the rental store. By the way, I should mention again, all of these were picked up in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, out of a record store, music store. Well, it's much more than that, but been there for 50 years. And in fact, when I went there, you couldn't read the sign because it was all beat up and dead, but cool place. It really was like a time capsule stepping back in time with the way they had it. So the last Starfighter, really the first computer graphics generated sort of special effects for all the ships and stuff like that. You know, silly by today's standard, but I don't know. I think it's a classic and a good enough movie. And then here's the, look at that sticker there. Someone is trying to erase its origin. But I know that was a rental. Still good condition, no mold. Last Starfighter. I thought it was a cool idea. Arcade cabinets were all the rage. Guys playing the arcade cabinet. He gets the high score. Turns out it was a military test to be a star pilot. So, you can imagine. Jodie Foster, the accused. Kelly McGillis was hot off of Top Gun. I think she won an Oscar for this one. Not 100% sure. Pretty sure there. This is a tough watch, I'll tell you that. Now, this one here has no signs of being a rental. Look at the label there. There's no glue coming through, although this is a later tape. This would have been, you know, somewhere around 88 or 89 or 90, so maybe they got better with the glue, I don't know. But I don't see any markings here or anywhere else on this tape where they would have scanned them, either on the sides or whatever. So, this was pretty popular at the time, so I'm sure people rented it if it was a rental, and I don't think it was. That looks like a factory code to me. So, again, I'm speculating this is not a rental. Ah, the Presidio, another late 80s. Sean Connery, Mark Harmon. I don't even know if I've seen this movie before. I sort of knew it when it was around. They were showing trailers on TV, but I don't quite remember it. But I mean, you know, guessing by what was around at the time, you know, there was some kind of military nonsense. The Presidio now is owned by Lucasfilm, and that's where their headquarters are. And you can look at this one. Clearly has never been a rental. The condition it's in, and clearly Paramount got better at this glue situation, so they smartened up. Although, I mean, I'm surprised anybody complained or cared, because at this point in time, beta was really on the ropes. So I'm actually surprised there's a beta that it's that late. Don't answer the phone. Now, I haven't seen this one. You know, my best guess with this is it's a ripoff of When a Stranger Calls. This was a time period where if somebody made some money, there were guys ready to go start filming a ripoff, you know, within a month. So, but I don't know. I haven't seen it, so, and I hate spoiling movies. This one is in excellent condition, especially that media brand. I always find these beat up. Looks like this one's a topper. Now, this sticker here, I think was a factory sticker. I don't think it was a rental. I can't be 100% sure, but, you know, it was all the way over here. It might have been. But I can't imagine. This company uses the cheapest materials they could find. I mean, like, I don't even see a name on this tape, the brand. It's not Scotch or Sony or anything, so I don't know. To me, if this was a rental, this would already be off of here. But, you know, I can't be sure. Amityville: The Possession. Now, I have not seen this film. Never a big fan of the Amityville horror. I don't even think I saw the full first one. Of course, I've seen clips, so I couldn't tell you. If you look at the back here, I mean, you know, there's the house. There's the kids. Who's in this? James Olsen, I don't know. Burt Young from Rocky. He's the brother of Adrian in the movie. Not seeing any other names. Diane Franklin, well, she's cool. She's in Better Off Dead, and I think Last American Version. Moses Gunn, I don't know either. But I mean, I don't know. Not too bad a shape, right? Again, there's this glue right here, but the size of that makes me think it was the factory sticker, not a rental, because this should be way more beat. Especially now you're getting into the right when movie rentals. This is before Blockbuster sort of took over everything, so this would have been a mom and pop shop if it was a rental. Those tapes, they usually had 1 or 2 copies of tapes, and by the time they were done with them, they'd gone through the mill. Nothing more 80s than Dancing on the Valentine, Duran Duran. I like these video 45s, they're fun. Again, perfect shape. So unless they kept the box there at the store and put it in one of those like brown cases or whatever. And it's interesting here. There was a 10 or 15 minute version of New Moon on Monday that would have been perfect to put on this tape, but this looks like the broadcast version. Missed opportunity there, being cheap, I don't know. I remember something, maybe it was the Laserdisc had the full video. Oh, I can't remember. Yeah, 15 minutes. Look, now if you look in the cylinder there, look at that. There's barely any tape in there. So this thing was made on the cheap just to get as much cash as possible. All right, that's all I got for you today. We'll continue to go through these and I'll continue to upload videos. Hope you enjoyed it.